We change the mind of the black man and make him accept himself. And as soon as he accepts himself, he'll solve his own problem. He won't be trying to force himself into your factory and into your bedroom and into your kitchen.
With no education, you have neo-colonialism instead of colonialism, like you got in Africa 9, like you got in Haiti. So what we're talking about is there has to be educational program. That's very important. As a matter of fact, we are so important for us that a person has to go through 6 weeks of our political education before he can consider himself a member of the party, able to even run down ideology for the party. Why? Because if they don't have the education, then they're nowhere. You dig what I'm saying? They're nowhere because they don't even know why they're doing what they're doing. You might get people caught up in the emotionless movement. You understand me? You might get them caught up in because they're poor and they want something. And then if they're not educated, they want more. And before you know it, they'll be capitalists. And before you know it, we have Negro imperialists.
Let me start that over. Peace and Black Power families, Brother Agyei Tyehimba from Harlem Liberation School, where we teach black people to wake up, clean up, and stand up in the words of our great Jegna and ancestor and Baba, Brother Malcolm X. Welcome, family. Thank you for joining us here at Harlem Liberation School online. We hope that you will immediately click that red button and subscribe if you have not already. We believe that this new series we have, Is It True?, is going to prove to be a very popular one. If you have not seen the first video in our series on John Henry Clark, we suggest you see it. It's already gotten over 2,000 views, in which we raised the question he raised. He said, he basically said that black people have no friends. And so the question that we pose is that true? So go check that video out, family, and see for yourself. But I'm very excited about this new series. I want to put this ticker on the bottom right now. Hold on, family. Yes. So that if you want to donate to support the work of Harlem Liberation School, you can do that using Cash App. You would send it to $, and it's capital TRUSELF 143 if you're so inclined. I want to say a few quick things up front before we get started. Number one, proud to say that our campaign, our GoFundMe that Harlem Liberation School started to support our elder, revolutionary, Black Panther leader in New York, co-founder of the Black Liberation Army, political prisoner, outspoken critic of imperialism and white supremacy, Brother Deruba bin Wahad, is doing well. The campaign is to raise $10,000 to cover his medical costs and to some degree his transportation costs. He kind of goes back and forth between the States here and Africa, where he finds he gets a better medical treatment. So we're trying to help him out. And it's a $10,000 campaign, and we are close to $7,000. So we want to thank the community, all of you who have donated. If you have not donated yet, you can simply go to GoFundMe and type in my name. You see my name right here on the screen. Type in my name. It'll show all the campaigns that I've been a part of. And that campaign, Support Deruba bin Wahad, will come right up. You can donate there. So we want to thank you and ask that as you donate, leave some words of encouragement for Brother Deruba, and please share the link with other people. There'll be a button you can press for that. We also want to say, family, stop playing. Go cop this book. Stop playing. Go to Amazon.com, type my name in, buy this book, family. We all complaining about we need leadership. What happened to the great leadership we have? This leadership we have is not doing it. Well, one of the reasons is because we need to study leadership like anything else, family. Like cooking, like exercise, family, like law, like medicine. Leadership, right, is something that has to be studied. It's not something you just jump into willy-nilly. It's like any other body of knowledge or any other thing like that. So please cop the book. You'll find it very useful and very helpful. Thank you for that. And the last thing, family, that I am somewhat proud to share is that, as you know, if you've been following the channel, following me on social media, you know that about 35 years ago, I was an undergraduate student at Syracuse University. I was part of a movement to fight vigorously to defend and support our African American Studies department. And it came to our attention recently that the department was under attack. Like departments, Black Studies departments all over the country. Like Black intellectuals all over the country that have a radical or progressive thrust. And so we got involved, some of us Black alum, and one of the most important things we found was to make sure the department had a chairperson, because without a chairperson, nothing else is going to happen. You can't do budgetary things. You can't do curriculum sort of changes. You can't get into promotions and tenure and raises and a number of other things. And the university said, well, you're not going to have a chairperson. We're going to go this entire spring semester without one, and maybe next year we'll pick it up. Then we said, well, what about an interim one? At least they said, nope, no interims. Well, guess what, family? You'd be surprised how we can make people change their minds, and we can make systems change their protocols when we organize and put pressure on them. So because many Black alum called certain officers, demanded certain things, raised certain critical issues, sent emails, sent even videos they recorded. People who don't even attend Syracuse University, Black people, family, worked together, and because of that, in less than a month's time, we got this Syracuse University to change their minds. So now all of a sudden, they have hired an interim chairperson. So to some degree, that is a victory. Now, we have to be critical when the university appointed the chairperson, who is a brother that I know, actually, a brother that I've known since I was an undergrad student. But they did not confer with the department. They did not ask the department, what do you think about this choice? Do you have somebody you'd like to be interim chairperson? So although it's a victory, it's a nuanced victory because the department had no say. However, we're going to go forward, family, with the positive thinking and the hope that as we who care about the department, fought for the department, know what the department needs, and is willing to work with the department to support them in getting what they need, that this interim chairperson, Brother James Rollins Jr., will do his due diligence and will help this department develop as he's helped some other departments at the universities, from what I understand. So just want to share those three quick things with your family. Now let's get right into it. You know, let me pull this up. Our beautiful revolutionary sister, who, as you know, was a member of the Black Panther Party in New York. She attended the Borough of Manhattan Community College, where I actually taught for a year. And because she attended it, in honor to her, they named the mascot of BMCC the Panther. A lot of people don't know that, but that's because Assata Shakur went there. And also, she was involved with the Black Liberation Army, with Baba Adu bin Wahad and others. And she was framed up for killing a New Jersey state trooper. And it was shown that her clavicle had been broken by a gunshot, and she could not have even raised the gun to shoot a gun. It was also shown that she had no gun residue on either of her hands. We know that she was innocent. We know they were trying to frame her up, right? Anyway, they illegally and unethically pronounced her guilty and sentenced her to a life sentence, family, for something she could not possibly have done. You know, you should read her self-titled autobiography, Assata, so you can hear the story for yourself from her, because it is one of the most powerful books. It's right up there with the autobiography of Malcolm X. You should read it cover to cover, family. It's a very good book. And, you know, some of our brothers, our revolutionary brothers, one who is now an ancestor who passed a few months ago, Brother Sekou Odinga, and some others, liberated Sister Assata from prison, broke her out of prison, physically got her out of prison. She stayed here for a year or two in the States, underground, and eventually fled to Cuba as a fugitive from the law in the United States. Cuba welcomed her, protected her all these years, and she resides in Cuba today, where she's been a professor and a writer, and really just a legendary sister. We're at this part of our series, Is It True? We're looking at a very famous quote from Sister Assata, and she has quite a few very famous quotes. I remember there's a whole movement of people wearing these shirts that said, Assata taught me, right? But we never got into, I thought that the activists lost an opportunity to teach about Assata. Everybody's wearing the shirt, but they may not really know what Assata was about. In any event, this particular quote is that she wrote in the autobiography that she wrote, you know, it is not enough just to change the system. We need to change ourselves. So the question for today's Is It True video is it true when Assata says this? Is it true that it's not enough just to change the system, that we need to change ourselves? Is that true? That's what we're going to kind of quickly interrogate. Now, I think it's important that to answer that, quotes are sometimes taken out of context. Sometimes we just read on one sentence of an 8-sentence quote, right? Or a paragraph quote. So I think that it's very important that we read more of the quote so we have a better sense of the context of what she was writing. And when you look at it, she says, I'm going to read, you can see it with me right on the screen. She writes, this is the 21st century, and we need to redefine revolution. This planet needs a people's revolution, a humanist revolution. Revolution is not about bloodshed or about going to the mountains and fighting. We will fight if we are forced to, but the fundamental goal of revolution must be peace. We need a revolution of the mind. We need a revolution of the heart. We need a revolution of the spirit. The power of the people is stronger than any weapon. A people's revolution can't be stopped. We need to be weapons of mass construction, weapons of mass love. It's not enough just to change the system. We need to change ourselves. We've got to make this world user-friendly. Now that's deep, right? When you look at the whole thing, the whole quote, in context, what is Assata doing? Well, she's essentially challenging the common notion that we have of what revolution is. In terms of, you know, we talk of revolution, we focus usually on weapons of destruction, right? Bombs and guns and grenades and landmines. And we focus on bloodshed and violence. Even Brother Malcolm, in his message to the grassroots, talked about revolution. He said revolution is bloody. Revolution is hostile, right? Okay, she's challenging our common notion, right? And it's very important that we look at what she wrote in that context. It's also important that we look at certain things she did in the writing itself, certain sort of grammatical things she did. Look at how every time she mentions revolution, how she spells revolution. She doesn't spell it the regular way. After every R in revolution, she puts a slash, right? And when you do that, what you have is R/evolution. Why does she do that repeatedly? What is her point? What is she trying to say? Well, she's trying to say that part of revolution, revolving the system, making the bottom the top and the top the bottom. That's the revolution part. But she's saying it's also a process of evolution. And evolution is very important here because evolution means that as time goes on, things get better. Some people think that as time goes on, things naturally get better, and that's not true. Things can devolve. Things can get worse as time goes on if we're not handling our business. So, right? I've been through many health challenges. If I don't take my medication, if I don't exercise, if I don't eat right, instead of getting better in 5 years, my health will decline in 5 years, right? It's the same thing with our political status, right? So she's reminding us when we talk about revolution, she says it outright in her words, and she even supports it grammatically with the use of the slash between the R and evolution in the word revolution. She wants us to understand this is about us getting better, right? Very important. And then I want you to notice the images that she conjures up in her writing. Very good writer, very good writing. She uses the image of the mind, the heart, the spirit. She plays on the word mass, weapons of mass destruction, instead says mass construction. She talks about love. So she's giving you images that are not bloody, that are not hostile, that are not speaking of death, right? And what is she doing? Well, family, what she is trying to do is she's warning us against the tendency to focus too much on the external wars in this passage. She wants to make sure that we don't get too hung up on defeating the white man, going against white supremacy, and we forget the other part, right? She says we cannot just change laws. We cannot just focus on the form of economy or government we have. We can't just focus on defeating white supremacy, and we got to do all of those things. She knows that, right? But she's saying that what? We, in addition to all those external things, we need to change ourselves. Very clear about it, right? And what does she mean? Well, she doesn't spell it out, but if you live long enough and you keep your eyes open and you're observant in your household, on your block, in your neighborhood, in your city and state, and in this country and world, you know what our issues are, family. So it's played all over the news, much to our embarrassment sometimes. We're talking about our insecurity. We're talking about our self-hatred. People running around here who fundamentally think they are ugly, they are unintelligent, they are unworthy, they're not valuable. We're talking about the jealousy that some of us can't bear to see another brother or sister doing well, succeeding, excelling, accomplishing things, right? No matter what those accomplishments are. We're talking about even in our own organizations, the infighting, the constant need to bicker and go back and forth and banter in a way that's self-defeating. You know, what some people refer to as crabs in a barrel. We're talking about the backbiting. They're talking ugly and bad about each other in our presence and outside of our presence, right? We're talking about the vanity. We're talking about our misplaced values and priorities. The things that we hold dear, we're ready to die over or kill over, right? Are sometimes not the most wholesome. Are sometimes not the things that are going to protect our children, protect our elders, keep us having resources we need and growing those resources, protecting ourselves, making sure that we have the material means to survive and other things. We're talking about our procrastination, putting things off, getting there late, not get up early. All of these things are fall under the umbrella of what Assata is talking about when she says we need to change ourselves. She's saying that, you know, and also the ugly ways that we treat each other and speak to each other, family. All of this is part of it. Now, she doesn't need to spell that out because she knows her readers are intelligent enough to fill in the gaps We know the things we do that aren't always beautiful and loving and just and fair and balanced. And she's calling us out. She's saying, yeah, it's very easy to talk about the white man and all he did, and we got to keep talking about him. Don't let him off the hook. And we do have to change this economy from this ruthless, transactional, individualistic capitalist system to a system that's more humane, right? To a system that allows everybody to give what they have to give, and even make space for people who, because of disability or age, can't give. Still takes care of them, doesn't shun anybody, right? Nobody's is left out of medicine because they can't afford it. The hospitals don't shut their doors because people can't pay for some expensive surgery. That type of society. People don't have to take out huge loans to go to school. That type of society, right? So we have to do those things. But we have to make sure that we remember, and Assata is pointing us in this direction, that winning the external revolution without winning the internal one is insufficient. Family, we have to be clear. And I hear people who are black, like myself, blackity black. We in the blackity black crew, right? And we talk about that revolution and what we got to do and who's down and remember that things are literal and things are metaphorical. So everything that we detest in this society, we got to make sure it does not exist in us. We don't like arrogance from white folk. We don't like when we're going in logic and complaint and no one's listening and talking over us. They can't even hear what we're saying. We don't like being called nigger and jigaboo and every other word they got. Right? We don't like violence set against us. So it says everything that we detest in this society. We don't like a dollar sign being put on every damn thing. Right? It means we can't replicate that ourselves amongst ourselves. That we have to change ourselves. So, what am I basically saying? Ding, ding, ding. Conclusion. When Assata says we can't just change the system, we must change ourselves, she is not only right, she's absolutely right. At least from the vantage point of Harlem Liberation School. So, family, that's pretty much all we have to say. I want to go to your comments to make sure we don't leave you out. Now, first of all, I'm going to say this, family. Support the movement, right? Support Harlem Liberation School. Support the channel. Make sure you subscribe. We got the Queen in the building. Brenda is saying Wakusa greeting the family. And she's welcoming you all to Harlem Liberation School. And she's also reminding you, if this is your first time joining us, click the like button, subscribe to the channel, share the video, and we encourage you to join in the discussion. And of course, to please show your support for the work we do by sending a contribution, if you so choose, to our Cash App handle, $TRUSELF143. I know there's some other people on here. I don't see a lot of people adding on, but that's okay. A lot of more of you will watch it in the later recorded version. But I know the Queen said, yes, it is. It's true. Straight up. She all the way through is showing that she supports essentially what we're talking about. And she's also saying when we change ourselves, the systems follow. Because look, if you change your priorities, guess what? You'll stop enriching the people who degrade and denigrate us, who sell us their stuff, get our money, but look down upon us. When you start changing your values, right, you'll start building your own institutions, right? When you change your values, you will start holding people accountable. Black people, Latino people, Asian people, and everybody else. Everybody. And you will start saying, and you'll stop being so hyper-localized. You'll start recognizing wherever new Africans exist on this planet, wherever Africans exist on this planet is the Mecca. There's no one place. Everywhere we exist is the battlefield. And everywhere the battlefield is, we need soldiers, right? And you'll stop thinking that nations just need agriculture and building houses and this type of thing, you start thinking nations need a whole bunch of things. And there's room for a whole lot of new Africans to get involved in this revolution we got going on. And that includes artists, musicians, computer designers, hackers, people with artificial intelligence, scientists that are up on nanotechnology, all of it, family. Educators, intellectuals, all of that. Militias, right? But that comes when we change the way we think and process. When we change our worldview, we'll start understanding that unlike the white man, we don't separate things. We see, our spirituality, our politics affects how we eat. Hello, your health, right? Because you say spiritually, there's certain things I'm not supposed to touch. Huh? You start saying, I'm not supposed to drink the milk of the cow. That's for the calf to drink. Does this make sense? When you change one thing, you are automatically altering other things. Why? Because all of these things are what? Connected. That's what our ancestors understood. Return to the source, family. Don't believe me. Read for yourself and you'll see. Now we have You and I Radio. Says, peace and black power. Thank you for breaking down the thoughts of Queen Mother Assata. I've never heard anyone explain Assata this way. Asante Sana. And thank you to You and I Radio. You and I Radio, I don't know exactly who you are, but you need to hit us up if you are representing Garvey really strong. We need to have something where we talk about Brother Garvey. And I'm going to have a true, is it true for Brother Garvey? We got a lot of quotes from Brother Garvey that we need to think about and break down, right? Sister Brenda's thanking You and I Radio. You and I Radio is thanking Sister Brenda back. And it says, thank you for chiming in on their live on Monday. Very good. So, all right, family. So, that is what we got for you tonight. I hope you enjoyed what we had to offer. I hope you reflect on it. Think about it more when this is off. Think about it yourself and see what you come up with. Was Assata correct? Is it important that we follow her in this direction she's leading us on? That we address the external colonizer, the external oppressor, right? And as we do that, we make sure that we're changing so that what? We're not oppressors and colonizers. Why does she need to say that? Let me tell you why. If you study the African independence movement, quite a few countries that liberated themselves in Africa from France or Belgium or Britain or Spain or Portugal or whatever you want to call it, were liberation fighters. They were nationalists, most of them, and Pan-Africanists. And when some of them got into office, they became as wicked and as evil as the oppressors they just kicked out. They started having one newspaper, which was the government's newspaper. If you spoke critical of the government, you disappeared and went to jail or were killed and nobody saw you again. You couldn't have a difference of opinion without being labeled a traitor or an enemy of the state. These people, some of them started stealing from the gold and oil and diamond mines of the motherland and living in obsessive luxury while their citizenry lived in squalor. So we have real life history that shows us that Assata is right and exact, that it's very important not just to focus on beating the oppressor and then become just like the oppressor in his place, family. This implies she didn't use this term, but what it sounded like she's pointing towards is, in addition to a political or cultural revolution, a spiritual revolution. We got to get our minds right, family, and our hearts right, right? With that said, family, thank you so much. Don't forget, get your copy, Stop Playing, of Leadership, Philosophy, Ethics, and Practice right on Amazon.com. Or if you don't want to pay the white man all that money and pay me the money directly, you can always hit me up personally on Facebook, where this should be broadcasting, or here on Harlem Liberation School, you can send us an email. And as the Queen says as we end, she's reminding, if you have not subscribed to the channel, family, please do subscribe and share this. We're truly grateful for your support. And I need to say this. We have about 1,500 subscribers. But when I look at the analytics for our channel, it says 20 and 30,000 people are viewing our videos, but they're not subscribing. And when you subscribe, it gives us the power to do more things, to reach more people. So please do, family. And as always, we say peace and black power. Wakusu. Wake up, clean up, stand up. And remember, family, no matter what the corporate-owned media says, what the Negroes and Coons say, we believe that if we wake up, clean up, and stand up, we will win. Peace and black power, family. Thank you for joining us, and have a wonderful rest of your week. Don't forget, the Black Power Cypher with me and brother Dr. Yusuf Bunchy Shakur out of Detroit is premiering on May 11th at 2 p.m. That is Saturday at 2 p.m. Hope to see you there. Peace.